Hey guys, welcome to the Tower Babble podcast. This is episode 9. I'm Julian.
I'm Dan.
And again, still no Jeremy. So I don't know if you guys have been listening long enough. He's probably been on less episodes than he has actually been on. Which is, whatever. He's busy. He's got to do his own stuff, but that's fine. This week we actually have more of a formatted episode. I had time to put together an outline. So we talk about a little bit of the stuff that we missed in Comic-Con. There's a lot of Star Wars news. And then we'll talk about the Wolverine and what we thought of that to finish off the show. So let's just start with Star Wars stuff. Like I said, we have lots. So there was a Star Wars Celebration Europe was this week. I'm not sure where in Europe. But anyway, not important.
It's in Europe.
Yeah. So Dave Filoni, who we all know as the guy behind Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and the new animated series they're going to be doing with Disney on Disney XD is Star Wars Rebels. So they revealed the logo and showed some concept art that they've been doing for it. So the logo looks a lot like the Rebel Alliance logo. It has a similar color and feel to it. The artwork and the concept art is based on Ralph McQuarrie, who's the concept artist behind the original series, episodes 1 through 3, I guess. Back in the day, it's pretty much the most well revered art from Star Wars that there is. People dress up as clone troopers from his artwork that were never even in the movies. So yeah. The first glimpse is also shown was the Ghost, which is a new ship. It's kind of like a new ship for the Rebels. It's kind of like he said it was a cross between a B-17 and a Millennium Falcon. And his quote was that it's actually a pretty big centerpiece of the show. We all like the sense in the classic films that the Millennium Falcon was a ship, but it was also a place. It was like a home. We wanted to give this new generation of kids a place they could go to feel safe when they were running from the Empire. And I'm really excited about that. We're on the run again. The Empire is controlling the whole galaxy, so we need a home and a ship. So I think that's kind of cool. It's like a new Millennium Falcon, and you can't go wrong with a Millennium Falcon, if you ask me.
Well, of course. And have a show that's kind of centered, I assume it's going to be the main characters are centered around that ship, right?
Yeah,
it's
probably.
not like they have a fleet of them. It's just the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I wonder if it can do the...
That'd be like a Firefly feel.
Yeah, well, I wonder if it can do the Kessel Run, or is it called the Kessel Run? In 3.5 parsecs or whatever. What does he say?
Probably not yet, but...
Well, the Millennium Falcon was old, wasn't it? It was supposed to be an old ship.
Well, yeah, kind of. I guess... I don't know. It was an older ship, I guess.
Yeah.
It's in the Nice Old Republic, you have a ship that is basically the same as the Millennium Falcon. It's called the Ebon Hawk.
Yeah, well, it's cool.
It's like a very, very old ship, but yeah.
Okay. So they also talked about that the animation style is going to be different from the Clone Wars. He didn't get into how different or what exactly they'll be doing, but I mean, based off what we've seen, it's not going to be really that much different. And
It's probably still going to be like CG and everything like that.
I just don't expect
maybe a little less cartoony. I don't know.
I just don't expect it to be very different at all. Actually,
probably not.
No. They also asked him about if we can expect to see any of his characters that he had in the Clone Wars to make an appearance. So that's possible. He said he wouldn't rule it out, but he said it was set in a different time. But I mean, not much different.
Yeah.
What else? So is this set? I can't believe. Did he say it was set right before A New Hope, or?
Yeah, I think so. Right.
A couple of years before the New Hope. I think. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I'm excited. I mean, we haven't really had a lot of stuff in that time, and we talked about this before, so we're not going to really talk about it for very much. But there was more Star Wars stuff. So speaking of the Clone Wars, the 5th season Blu-ray was announced, which is, I mean, it's supposed to come out, I don't know, October 15th. It's got a bunch of all the episodes, good director's cuts of some of those episodes, 3 hours of extra content, crew interviews, deleted alternate scenes, the usual fare. Yeah. And then also they announced the full box set for the whole series, which apparently doesn't have any of that extra stuff that they've been talking about that they didn't finish for the season 6 that was canceled. Yeah. So I'm waiting for that and I'll get maybe the whole box set with the bonus content or something.
Do you think they can do a second box set with that extra stuff?
Dan, we're talking about Star Wars here. We're talking about people that put out the same stuff re-release the same box sets over and over and over again with slight changes.
Yeah. If that makes fair enough.
Um,
That's good though. I gotta jump into or get into that show. Get it done.
I don't know what you're waiting for. Well, I
I'm
do.
waiting for the box set.
No, you're not. It's $150.
That's not bad. For 5 seasons? That's not bad. Anyways, what?
John Williams, he's back for episode 9 or episode 7, excuse me.
Perfect.
So he confirmed that with everyone. That's just I think that's been pretty much rumored for a while. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting him not to do it. So
Yeah, no, that's like his iconic work. He wants to stick with it.
When I think of Star Wars, like his music's like the most like the thing that stands out to me the most, other than lightsabers, you know. Zac Efron and Ryan Gosling. Did we talk about this last week? I don't think we did.
No, we talked about it, but we didn't talk about it while we were recording.
Okay, so yeah, Zac Efron and Ryan Gosling are rumored to be parts of episode 7. So they didn't say who Zac Efron was going into, like, for what party he's going in for, but they did say, the rumor did say that Gosling was going in for Luke's son, and this is according to Latino Review, and they're usually pretty right with their stuff.
Yeah.
So
sweet. And would Efron, okay, would he not be like one of Han Solo and Leia's kids?
Possibly.
That would make the most sense.
Well,
he looks like he could pull off a young Harrison Ford kind of, like he looks like he could be his kid.
Who's Zac Efron or yeah,
probably, maybe.
Yeah,
not.
he probably could. I mean, I don't know. See, the story is that we're still not sure what exactly they're doing for the new series. My guess is that they're still going to be doing just what's it called? They're basing it off of the stuff that they did in the expanded universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, loosely based off of it. Like, we're not having a good podcast right now.
No, I mean, I don't. What's going on here? What was that? What was that sound? Yeah, I don't know. It's really hot in here. It's like, I don't know what the air, like, so everyone's gone. It's just me in the house, but like the air conditioning isn't working or something, and I am boiling up. So, and this computer super hot. But I mean, I'm not going to make excuses, although I am.
You just made a few excuses.
What else did they have for Star Wars stuff? Okay, yeah, Disney registered a whole bunch of domain names around the title called Attack Squadron. So we don't know if it's a video game or maybe a future movie or something for a television series. I hope it's a game.
Yeah, I'm thinking video game, like a Rogue Squadron sequel kind of deal.
Yeah, well, because we already Attack Squadron. It's like, that's a very similar name. We already know Rogue Squadron was popular back in the day. Haven't had one of those since GameCube, or did we?
No, GameCube, and that game was phenomenal.
That was good. Yeah,
I loved that game.
And we haven't had a good like space flying game in a long time. Like
space flying. I know what you mean.
We should just call it space flying. Go on the space flight. Well, there's that game called FTL. Have you heard about that?
No.
It's like a top-down like strategy game, and you know what FTL stands for, right?
Faster than light.
Yeah. So it's like a strategy game where you have to like manage this ship, then it gets like attacked by like different things, and like parts of the ship can get exploded, and like people get sucked out, and it's like you have to like, I don't know. Apparently, it's really, really good. It's on Steam for like super cheap. Oh, yeah? I was hoping I could find it for the iPad. It's not on the iPad apparently, but maybe one day.
Sweet.
FTL. That's my recommendation of the day. Go play FTL. I've heard,
even though that you haven't played it.
I've never played it, but I've heard, I want to, and I've heard really good things. So,
all right.
We'll move on from Star Wars. I just so excited all the time about
Star Wars
stuff.
2015 is going to be a good year. It's going to be that, and then the Superman, Batman. Big stuff, Marvel, big stuff.
Is it Avengers in 2015? Or is that 24? Is that next year? Avengers 2? Is that next year?
I think it's 2015 as well.
So yeah, we got Avengers, Batman, Superman, and Star Wars. It doesn't even matter what else comes out.
Yeah.
I really don't even care.
Yeah.
Those are the only if I never saw any other 3 movies all year, that would be fine with me.
Well,
no, seriously, if you had to pick only 3, those would be the ones, right?
Yeah. I think Ant-Man's 2015 as well, no?
Yeah. It's the first Phase 3. Speaking of Phase 3, good segue. Feige said not expect any new Phase 3 news until next year. Probably 1 year from now-ish. Probably not till next Comic-Con. So, no, we won't get word on whether or not they're doing a
like Doctor Strange
or Black Panther or anything like that until next year. I mean, that's fair. Those movies aren't coming out until 2016. It's like that's 3 years out. I mean, I guess, but we already know that Spider-Man 4 is happening, and that's probably not until 2016 or later. So, I mean, but anyway, so that's kind of bad, like kind of crappy. But I mean,
whatever.
We can live. I mean, it's only what our podcast is about. So I mean,
there's plenty of other stuff going on. Yeah, it will be alright.
Yeah. Speaking of Spider-Man 4, so they did say that it might be a spin-off movie. So Mark Webb was talking to Collider or something like that, and they were saying that, quote, "This was conceived as a trilogy, so there was defined architecture to the story we were telling, and we had a sort of a rough outline for what's going to happen. I think for the fourth movie, what we're discovered is that there's so many auxiliary characters that have enormous cinematic potential that there may be other ways to exploit those characters in a way that is exciting, fun, and worthwhile. It might not just be a Spider-Man movie." So if you had to pick any other character in the Spider-Man universe, because Sony only has the Spider-Man characters, who would you do a spin-off movie with?
Black Cat. I mean, I'd like to see Venom, but if Venom's already established for them, right? From Spider-Man 3.
So no, but this is a reboot, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
No, Spider-Man.
Why call it Spider-Man 4 then?
Because Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, right? So Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, and 4. They did the 1. They already have plans for 4.
About. Okay, well then do Venom do it right.
Yeah, okay, I agree. A Venom and Carnage story, maybe?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Black Cat would be cool. You've always been a big fan of Black Cat.
Yeah, Black Cat's sweet.
The Catwoman of the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I can't remember. I'm trying to think of other people that he teams up with, more like Avengers and like X-Men and stuff, but he wouldn't put any of those in that movie. I'm trying to think of who else he...
Can you Mobius?
Oh, yeah, Michael Mobius.
The living vampire?
Yeah.
Or who else? You could do a Sinister Six movie, just the villains. I don't know what you'd like. You against Spider-Man, but you could do it from the villain's perspective. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the Sinister Six? It's Octo,
Dr. Octopus, Rhino, Scorpion, Shocker, Vulture, and Chameleon.
Good call. Chameleon's cool. I always like Chameleon. He's kind of underused in a lot of stuff. You don't see him very often.
Well, he's like one power. It's not like he's
but
physical threat or anything. It's a cool power, but like, meh.
You know who we haven't seen and I would like to really see is what's that guy who can copy everyone's moves by just like watching it?
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster is fucking badass.
But he's a Captain America enemy.
Yeah, no, but I mean we don't have to see him in a Spider-Man movie, but I'd love to see him in a Marvel movie. Taskmaster's pretty cool. Not maybe that yellow Trent like.
He's got a very weird costume. And all.
Yeah, but like we don't have to wear that. He kind of looks a lot like a lot of the villains did in like that time. Like Green Goblin kind of looks a lot like he looks like a yellow Green Goblin or a Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of characters in the Spider-Man universe that they can use. And it might just me. I mean, I'm sure this has been said before, but is Mark Webb not the perfect name for Spider-Man?
Yeah, I know. They have to. They've made those jokes. Everybody's made that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
What else did we say? Okay, so we missed one thing of news from Comic-Con last week, and we have more for later. But the first thing was that we missed the scene that they showed at the Thor panel that they did. And apparently it's a scene where Thor throws his hammer. We've all seen it before, and he kind of throws his hand out, and it comes back to him, right? Well, apparently he does that, and then Loki chops off his hand, his right hand, his hammer-throwing hand. So... he talks about that and about how apparently that's not the worst he has to deal with in this movie. So I don't know what that exactly means, but that can't be good for Thor.
No, that's definitely not good for. That's a huge event for Thor. His hammer hand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know what's gonna happen. With that. I don't know. I don't know if I like it.
Well, okay. I feel like. What happens if you lose your hand? You get a hook? Does he get a hook hand, or maybe he gets the hammer for a hand?
That'd be stupid too. I don't know. They're probably gonna have some kind of way to grow it back or heal it or something.
I mean, he does have magic.
Some sort of magic, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Aquaman did lose his hand, and he became cooler.
Yeah.
And he had a hook for a hand.
Yeah.
So, in the animated, like the Justice League animated series, he had the hook hand for a while, right?
Well, he had, yeah.
Okay.
After they did the episode in the animated series where he had to cut his hand off.
Oh, that's right. He was like chained up to like
Yeah,
a.
and it was like on this thing that was like sinking into a volcano or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. And yet it was against like it was like Orm or something or
Yeah.
something was and Black Manta. They always do both. They always do all of his villains at the same time because on their own they're not as cool. But if you combine them, then they're cool. And Black Manta, you know who did Black Manta did really well? Young Justice.
Young Justice, yeah.
Black Manta was pretty badass. Him and a couple of those minor villains that you don't see very often. But anyways, Young Justice, rest in peace. What else have we got for Marvel news? I think that's it.
That's it for Marvel, yeah.
Game stuff. There's only one thing I have written down here. There wasn't a lot going on. Have you been playing anything? I haven't really. Just a lot of NHL.
No, I'm still playing Injustice a bit.
Well, I got back into Battlefield.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I feel like I have I feel like I have an Injustice thing in here somewhere. Oh yeah.
Well, tomorrow the Martian Manhunter DLC comes out.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of Martian Manhunter DLC, so they had Ed Boon came out and said that won't be the last DLC character, and that the next one will be a big fan favorite. So I don't know what that means. You probably have a better idea. Who's everyone hoping for still? And they did get Lobo.
Like, I hate it. A lot of people online want more Batman characters, and I've already complained about that. Like they want Red Hood, or they want.
See, but Red Hood would be exactly the same as what we already have.
No, well, he'd be cool. Like he'd have guns. But he'd be more like Deathstroke than anybody, I think. But like, people want like Poison Ivy, and I guess her powers are pretty.
Those are
like I'm sure they can make a lot of cool stuff happen with that. But there's also like, we don't need any more Batman characters. There's a much larger Justice League. Like,
I get.
There's probably gonna be one more good guy and two more bad guys.
So did we see?
That's what I'm assuming.
Based on like the.
It's just based on the way that it's because like, so the ones that have happened so far are Lobo, Zod, Scorpion, and Batgirl.
Mm-hmm.
Lobo and Zod are on the side with all the bad guys, all the villains, and then Scorpion and Batgirl are on the bottom with all the good guys. Mm-hmm. So there's space above Scorpion for two more good guy slots, and there's a space under Zod for two more bad guy slots. And I assume Martian Manhunter is going to go up on the left there with the good guys, right?
Yeah.
So then they're not going to stop at 5. It would just look stupid.
So you have the Black Canary is what it would be a guess. I mean, not as for this next one, but if there did more I think Black Canary makes sense.
Black Canaries are good because they need more girls. Her or like Zatanna because they need more girls.
Yeah, they could do Zatanna. I like that.
And then like probably like Darkseid or I don't know, like Brainiac. I don't know, Brainiac maybe.
I feel like Darkseid and Brainiac are too like big for this. Like, you know what I mean? They're too over.
Well, why?
I mean, Superman's in it, I guess.
Doomsday and Superman.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Darkseid would be cool. They did it already in Mortal Kombat versus DC, right?
Yeah, so they
Darkseid was in it.
Experience with that character and his powers and stuff like that. Who else was I thinking? I had another one that I was thinking of.
I don't know, but he said it was a big fan favorite, so I mean, you'd have a better idea than I would.
Well, I was thinking Captain Atom too. That's not the one. That's not the big fan favorite, but I'd like to see that. He's cool.
That'd be I think that'd be hard to do. Like, how do you do how do you do moves?
Well, he's got like cool shooting powers. He can probably like, he can fly and stuff like that.
Captain Atom can fly?
Yeah.
What?
Captain Atom. Not the Atom.
Not Captain Atom. Is that the one who's like all silver and he's got the big red thing on his chest?
He's like a nuclear.
Okay. No, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's not a big fan favorite. But he's in all the DCs. He's always in the animated series.
Because he looks cool to draw. He looks. Actually, the Atom. Well, he's in one of the stages, like just in the background, whatever. They do that with a lot of characters. But there's one you play the like the challenges, like I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
The Star Labs missions.
Yeah.
And the Atoms and what you have to play as the Atom in one of those. Like you shrink down, you have to do some crap. It's cool. They put stuff like that. Like they put like Kilowog and Atrocitus in that too.
Cool
stuff like that. So I doubt those ones are ever going to be playable characters.
Well, it's possible you could get Kilowog as or not Kilowog, but maybe Atrocitus as a playable character.
I'm sure you could, but I don't think they are.
I don't know. There's not really a big demand for that one. I can't think like I'm a big fan favorite. Like I know you don't like the Bat characters, but like they have a wealth of characters that you can use. Right?
They do, and a lot of bad guys, which is fine. The other one that would be cool is Blue Beetle. They just fleshed. He was pretty cool in the Young Justice show.
We talked, man.
Cool, like,
God, can't believe they.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. I mean, Beware the Batman is pretty cool, but it's I would. God, that show was cool. I would have liked them to. I would have loved to do like a spin. Not really a spin off isn't really the way. Where like a side series like they meet up. They're like one after the other. For maybe they sit in the same universe. You have the Young Justice, and then you have a Justice League.
Yeah.
Like because the Justice League was done really cool in that show. Like so you could do like the Justice League adventures, and then you could tie them all together. It'd be like an hour-long show, but it's with different. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
Like a back to back kind of.
Yeah, back to well, they do have they have like the DC Nation on Cartoon Network, right? Which is in between those. They have those like shorts, those DC animated shorts. Hey guys, sorry Skype cut out, but we're back. Dan, what were we talking about?
We were trying to think of different DC characters, and we like for the record, we've had that conversation on our podcast a million times.
Three or four times, and again, it's still interesting to me. I don't know.
Well, it is like.
I don't even play the game, and I think
the other one I was thinking was Power Girl because they need more female characters.
Boob windows. And I said I made that joke before too. So I guess we'll move on from that then. Yeah. Xbox One. Okay, so yeah, the Xbox One controller has been priced out, so they've sold what it's going to be. It's going to be $59.99, but no one's going to buy that one because it doesn't have to come with a battery or the play and charge kit or whatever.
Yeah, that's
chargeable battery. So with that, it's $74.99. The version now with the play and charge kit, like the Xbox 360 controller, is $69.99. The extra cables, $24.99, and the proprietary headset, like I don't think it's coming in the box this time, is $24.99. So everything's $10 more than
that's not that bad though.
Yeah, as well.
The headset.
Yeah, 20. But so I think PS4 said that it's going to support the current PS3 headset, the wireless headset that they have. So that means to me that they're going to be doing Bluetooth again. So you can probably use still Bluetooth.
Any Bluetooth device.
Yeah. So that's good for me. I don't have like that one, but I have a lot of Bluetooth things lying around. I got that Jawbone lying around. And speaking of talking on your PlayStation 4, the party chat. So everyone's been wanting on the PS3, but Sony came out and said is impossible to do on this gen system. Party chat is going to be on the PS4, and it's going to be free. So you don't need to have PlayStation Plus to use it. So
okay, what exactly is party chat?
So party chat is like I could be playing Battlefield 4, and you could be playing The Last of Us 2, and we could talk to each other while playing separate games. You know what I mean? And I could be like, hey, I'm playing Battlefield 4, doing this and this and this, whatever. Come join my game, and without even having to stop the conversation, you could come straight in and join me in Battlefield.
Okay, that's a sweet feature. Yeah.
So it's kind of something with like people have been using in on PCs for a long time, being able to just use chat and talk to people. Like people, I remember playing Battlefield 2. You could get certain chat clients, and I can't remember the name of it anymore, but I would play in like a clan or whatever, and we would use that as the whole clan. So it wasn't be just your squad, which it was in BF2. You could talk to everyone or from different squads or whoever's the commander or whatever. You know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Speaking of the commander mode, like my brother was watching a couple of trailers that I don't know if I've seen them or I hadn't seen them in a while for Battlefield 4's commander mode and all the stuff that they're doing, but I'm like very excited.
I know
what Battlefield 4 is bringing to the table, and so they're talking about like you can have your tablet or your phone, right, and it's going to be that second screen experience, and you can look down, and it'll have all your kill stats and all that stuff live as you're playing, right? Mm-hmm. If you're commander, it'll have your commander mode, but you don't have to be playing that. You could be anywhere and have be doing commander mode, right? So it's not necessarily, you don't have to be on the PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah, you could be on the bus and just like say you drop a bomb here, destroy this building. Okay, sweet.
So it'd also be a live map, so you look down and show you like what's going on as a mini map. It can also be, you can set up like your loadouts and all that stuff on there, and then just send it to the game, or while you're on the bus again, like all those things. I'm really excited about that, like that mode. But
that's gonna be sweet, but you're gonna drain your battery like a motherfucker.
Yeah, probably. I'm excited to. That's like gonna be because of when Battlefield comes out, and it's coming out for the Xbox 360 and PS3 first, and PS3, and then Xbox One and PS4. People are talking about like wanting to transfer their stats from their PS3 or Xbox games to the PS4 or Xbox One games. Yes, looking into that. That was a story today. I didn't really put it up on our news feed, but
Okay.
that'd be cool. I mean, I'm not gonna buy it twice. I mean, I love Battlefield, but I'm just gonna wait till the PS4 comes out
Yeah, we
and
might
buy
as
it.
well get it next gen. Yeah.
Yeah, because we already know it's gonna have the 64 players online on
Hmm.
PS4, and like I haven't done that since, like I said, Battlefield 2, and as we said before, that was like golden age like video gaming for us, like me and you
Yeah.
and Bryce
Yeah. Yeah.
and Amos. Yeah. Anyway,
I think it was just the four of us.
yeah. Well, I think Mike was on there as well, but he didn't play a lot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. What else do we have? It appears that the PS4's OS will be approximately 3.5 gigabytes. Okay, so yeah, so they said that a rumor came out today or the other day saying that the PS4's operating system is going to use about 3.5 gigs of the 8 that the PS4 uses, which leaves only 4.5 for games, right? Sony came out and clarified that they didn't like say use exact numbers or anything like that, but did say that there will be a dedicated section just to gaming, and there will be a flexible memory section that games can use if they need extra memory from the operating system. But what really stands out to me in that news is not so much that it's the games are going to have less data or memory to use, is that the OS is going to have 3.5 gigs, which means that we're not going to have to deal with a slow ass operating system like we did with the PS4 or PS3. So I'm excited, like not having like all that stuff in the background, all that's like, you know, when you have to go to like sync your trophies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All that stuff should be done in the background, and it'll be like smooth as silk. I'm hoping this time. That's what that looks like to me, but we'll see.
Awesome.
We talked about the party chat already. TV stuff. So we didn't talk about this last week, and I've thought about it as soon as I stopped recording. Was that I watched the Arrow season 2 trailer? So Arrow, which is on the CW, it's about Green Arrow. It's kind of like what they did with Smallville, but cooler. So season 1 was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Armel, I think, or Stephen Armel, I think is the guy who plays him. He's pretty good as a young Oliver Queen. And I honestly, like, if they do the movies keep going in the same way they've been doing with a gritty tone, I don't see any reason he couldn't play a movie version of Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
I don't think they would, or tie in that universe like that. I mean, that's just they wouldn't do it. They'll have movie people do movie stuff. They have their own little cliques. Anyway, so the trailer for season 2 looks crazy. It's so shows so much action. It teases the Black Canary stuff, which is going to be cool. It also has so he's been going by the term the Hood or just the Vigilante, blah blah, like in Star City. So at the very end of the trailer, he says I don't think I want to be called the Hood anymore, and then stares at his Green Arrow. So I'm like, okay, sweet. So they made me start finally calling him Green Arrow, because they made a joke in the first season that he was sitting around for dinner or whatever, and he was with his family or with friends of the family who are cops and stuff like that, and because they're all rich, right? And he's like, they're like, what do you think of the Vigilante? He's like, I don't know. Starts talking about it. He's like, what does he think of the name? He's like, I kind of like the name the Hood or whatever. And he's like, well, maybe a different name. And then someone suggested what about Green Arrow? And he's like, I think that's dumb.
It is kind of a very simplistic name, but whatever. Most superhero names are
better than the Hood, and it's much better than the red blue blur, which they used in Smallville before he was called Superman.
Yeah. That's fuck. I gotta watch that show too. I got so much stuff to do.
Yeah, man. I have a whole list of things that you need to fucking watch. I have a list of things that you need to watch. So speaking of the C-Dub, as I'm gonna call it from now on. Okay, like the A&Ws, I'm gonna call it the C-W. Maybe the CWs or the
CWs
or C-Dub. Okay,
gotcha. All right.
Renews Whose Line Is It Anyway for another season with 24 episodes. So that's only 3 episodes in, and they've already renewed it. So that's cool.
Awesome.
I watched a couple of them. They're pretty,
awesome.
They're pretty funny. I went and watched back and watched old episodes too. I just couldn't stop laughing. It hurt. My side, they said side splitting. I was in pain. What else for new TV news? So Community, Dan Harmon. This is up your alley, Dan.
Yeah.
So did you read this article before?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did.
So he was talked about how he'll handle the whole Chevy Chase and Donald Glover's departure. Although Donald Glover necessarily didn't depart, he didn't leave.
He's just very reduced role,
Yeah.
though.
Chevy Chase is gone. They're not getting him back, which
Yeah.
is whatever. I mean, did anyone really like Pierce? I mean, really?
But he was still part of the group, and
So yeah, like he talks about how he made it like a concerted effort to keep the Greendale Seven together, and like even like with like when Chang was around, like he never really became part of the group and stuff like that. So now that this like the whole dynamic of the show, they even made like jokes about that with Op-Ed. Like the whole dynamic is gonna have to change, right?
yeah,
Like what's Op-Ed without Troy, and like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you can't do Troy and Op-Ed in the morning without Troy. So. It'd be interesting to see how he handles it. He's like, I think what does he say like about how he doesn't want to, like maybe he doesn't want to say it straight on, or maybe he will. He doesn't really know yet. Is that
I
kind
think
of what he said?
they'll definitely tackle it head on. They have to. Like it's too too large a part of the show to just like play off like nothing's happening. I guess they kind of did that with Chevy Chase's departure. They kind of just like, oh, Pierce isn't here today and stuff like that. They would just say like, oh, he had to go visit his mom's or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think with this though, like I'm pretty sure that they're gonna actually have to address this. Maybe Troy has to, go to air conditioning repair school or whatever, and like actually has to be like.
I can't even say that without
bumped
laughing.
I don't know. The other thing we talked about this last week, so we don't have to like
Yeah.
on it too much. But like, I have a lot of faith in the writers of the show, and I know that they're gonna handle it well. As well as they can. Obviously, it's bad news, but I just have faith in the writing.
Well, I'm excited to kind of actually. It might be interesting for me, like, because I think
Yeah, and it gives them
after
room to create, right? It gives them room to make jokes and stuff like that.
because after season 4, I mean, like we've had 4 seasons of them, all 7 of them together at Greendale, right? So now we have one of them, the main characters, has graduated. We have one who's gone, like for good, and then we have another who's in a reduced role. So that changes things a lot. Okay, so we're back again. Again, with audio, probably like man,
There's some sort of connection issue right now.
we're so sorry.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to cut this up a bit.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean, I'm gonna try to fix it as best I can, but
But it is gonna be a little choppy.
okay. So we were talking about Community, but I think we'll move on from Community because I think we don't have very much to say about.
No, yeah.
Any
Have
much
faith
more to
in the
say.
writers. They're gonna do it, and I'm just happy they got a 5th season. So
So we have Under the Dome is being renewed for season 2 by CBS. I don't know if you ever watched any of the episodes of it yet.
no, my mom's been watching. She just read the book. I have the book here. I might read it, but from what I understand, it's very like I don't know. It's one dimensional and like how do you the book is a very short like
It's a
finite
short story.
story. It's not a short story. It's a full novel, but like it's just there's a dome and like eventually people they're all just gonna die. Like there's no. How do you make a TV show? Like how do you have more seasons?
I don't know. I've assumed that. I don't know. Maybe it's not very many.
I also,
seasons.
I haven't watched it and I haven't read the book, so I can't really cast judgment on it. I don't know. Meh.
It's something I'm interested in watching. So I know Stephen King is supposed to be back to write an episode next season, so that would be kind of cool. Obviously, the author of the book. So
Yeah.
Arrested Development is quote unquote definitely returning. This is coming from one of the producers of the show, series creator Mitch Hurwitz. Okay, yeah. So according to Mitch Hurwitz, who's the creator, he talked about like needing to feed his family and how he was so successful on Netflix that there's almost like for sure coming back. So I'm really excited for that. I mean,
I don't know. This past season on Netflix was kind of iffy for me.
okay, but like they didn't know how that was gonna work out. So maybe coming back for this season, they'll have better understanding. And
yeah, they filmed it differently. It was like a weird series of episodes. It's not because they couldn't get everybody there at the same time to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, it's also one of my favorite comedies. So if it's definitely returning, I'm happy about it. I just want them to, get back to their roots.
So maybe that means that they'll do it like the old, like the original series was. Well, not like the original. It's still the same series, but maybe they'll do it in the same way. You know what I mean? Now that they have more money or they know that it'll work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Good
Well,
stuff.
we were talking about Dan Harmon as well before, just a second ago. He's doing a new show on Adult Swim called Rick and Morty. It looks pretty funny. It's an animated show.
What's it about?
I don't know. I haven't checked it out enough. I just saw this little piece. I thought you might want to know.
Cool. I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah.
La la la. Okay, so comics. More stuff we missed from last week at Comic-Con. I'll just run through this super quick because we don't really have much to say on it. So we have a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic that's coming out. It's going to be done as a Lost Episodes kind of format set during the original series. So back with Tommy and
Jason and Kimberly.
Yeah. And then we have Nightcrawlers coming back from the dead. Surprise, surprise.
Cool.
No character stays dead for long. Although he was dead for a while, a couple of years for sure.
Yeah.
So it's being called in a new X-Men book called Amazing X-Men. So eventually they're gonna run out of adjectives, I'd assume. And what else? Gail Simone, who writes Batgirl now, and her whole story is kind of weird. She was originally fired from Batgirl for no reason, and then everyone was like kind of like outraged. There was a big like backlash by like on Twitter and stuff, and then she was hired back to write Batgirl on a permanent basis. So that's kind of cool. But she'll be writing a Tomb Raider comic for Dark Horse, and Dark Horse did Halo and Mass Effect comics. So and they've done other stuff too, but they've done usually pretty well with their comic or their video game stuff. So that'll be kind of cool. I mean, she was huge in the 90s. She isn't quite as big deal anymore, and the last game was kind of cool. And this is obviously set like with the same characters from that game, or this version of Lara, the reboot.
They rebooted the young version. Yeah.
And then there's gonna be a Harley Quinn ongoing series, her own monthly book.
That's dumb.
No, man, she used to have her own. I mean, she's been
stupid.
You really don't like Harley Quinn that much?
I don't. She's super annoying.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, I think it's cool. I've always kind of liked her.
But she's a sidekick. Why does she get her own book?
Man, what?
It's fine. It's fine. It's good for them. I'm not going to read it.
Why does Red Hood get his own book?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, they need to have 52 titles, so I don't know how they have to fill it up somehow. So movie news. So this is exciting for me, and it's exciting for you too. So the next DC animated features that have been leaked. We talked about the Justice League War last week, which was teased after Flashpoint, which we talked about as well. And then, so the ones after that, set for summer 2014, is Son of Batman, which is an adaptation of Batman and Son, which is a Grant Morrison story written a few years back about Damian Wayne. So that's kind of cool. And then the one that I'm really excited about is called Batman Assault on Arkham, which is actually based in the Arkham universe, which is from the games. They said there's some of the talent's going to be involved with the animated film. You have your washing machine going again? Yeah, I can hear it. Okay, I was wondering, and no big deal. Anyways, so it's like some of the talent they said is going to be from the game is going to be in this like feature film or whatever. Not really feature film, but animated feature.
Yeah. That's sweet, though.
Yeah. So it also says that the footage won't be from the games, but fresh animation. So I don't know exactly necessarily what that means. Does that mean it's going to be like CG, like from the games, but not directly from like what we've already seen in the games? Or
and is it also like Assault on Arkham leads you to believe it's the first game, right? Or they just do it?
I don't know. I don't think they're doing it. I think it's
like
set in the universe.
Separate story, but set in the same universe.
Yeah, I think that's more likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that they've been
cinematic trailers for the game.
Like they just did a whole movie like that. That would be the coolest thing in the world.
I'd be very excited.
I'd buy 5. I'd buy 5 copies. I'd buy 5 copies and give them away for presents to people who don't even like Batman. Well, that doesn't make sense. I guess I'll give them to people who do like Batman.
Everybody likes Batman.
It's true. But that one's set for release in fall 2014. So those are next year's versions. So everyone always complains that they're only ever doing Batman, Superman, and Justice League stories. But I mean, if you look back at the sales, I think someone in one of the comments did like a little breakdown of like what they've been bringing in, feature like money wise for the animated features they've been doing, and by far, the most money is Batman movies and the Superman
of course.
Movies. So they just make those ones. They make the most money, although it has been diminishing returns for a couple years. They're making less money than they used to, but I think that's only because they're making more of them than they used to. So.
Yeah. Batman and Superman are their headliners. They're always going to be the most popular characters. They're always going to sell and move titles.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was up on the top. She was like 4 in the top 5 of the animated though. Yeah. I kind of like the Wonder Woman one.
That's good.
Yeah. I think it didn't start the whole thing, but it was like one of the early ones. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Had blood in it. I was like, holy shit, this thing has blood in it. It's like, okay.
And then their Flashpoint just happened. I just watched that the other day. Actually.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was. I get what you mean. It was very Russian. Like for someone who hasn't read the comics, you probably do feel like what's going on for the whole beginning.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters seem like they're just like cameos. They're in it and they die, like Deathstroke and Luthor and stuff like that.
What was the point of Deathstroke? Like that made no sense to me. I mean, like, he's cool and all with his like eye patch and beard, but
Like,
like,
yeah, I mean, the action was cool. The animation was really cool.
but there's no point. There's no purpose for him there. You could easily just spend more time with the main characters.
Yeah.
Um, I liked it. It's not my favorite. I talked again. I talked about this last week, but your take is pretty similar, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So 2000 AD. If you haven't seen Dread 3, I asked you about this.
No.
Did I say this last week that they're
Yeah, we
doing a
talked
petition for a sequel? I don't remember if we talked about it last week.
Okay.
I mean, we might have talked about it on air, off air. I don't remember. But yeah, the 2000 AD who publishes the books is doing a sequel. They want a sequel to Dread 3D with Carl Urban again. Very unlikely. Great movie.
Yeah, that movie didn't do very well, man. It's not gonna.
It bombed. It bombed. Made more money than the previous version though, and still a better movie. Anyway, 47. We saw the trailer for 47 Ronin before Wolverine, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that?
I don't know what to think about that, actually.
I was so confused. I had no idea.
I don't know. It's like a samurai version of 300. There's 47 guys versus an army.
Well, I found out what Ronin meant when we
Ronin
watched
is
Wolverine.
like a... Sorry?
I remember I found out what it meant when we watched Wolverine. They talked about it. I was like, oh, cool. It's a samurai without a master?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anyways, it looks cool. I mean, it's Keanu Reeves, and he hasn't done anything for a while. I mean,
Keanu Reeves as the last samurai.
Yeah, pretty much.
But there's like some weird like fantasy element. There's like some weird giant thing that's trying to kill him.
Yeah, and there was like a dragon at one point.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'll watch it. I'll just be very confused.
Yep.
But speaking in that same genre, so the V for Vendetta director and the Ninja Assassin director, the V for Vendetta I liked a lot. Ninja Assassin not so good. Anyway, James McTeague is directing a remake of Bloodsport.
Awesome.
I'm
pumped.
So the original obviously had Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's apparently already said that he doesn't want to be involved in this remake. But the quote for the film is, "This new film, which has not been cast, will explore the life of 21st century mercenaries as they collide with the underground world of Brazilian Vale Tudo fighting." So
awesome. That sounds like the most exciting thing in the world.
So I put that in there. I put that in there just for you and Jeremy. But he was
so excited for that.
He wasn't here.
Bloodsport, the first movie, the original Bloodsport, is an awesome movie.
I've never seen it, to be honest.
Oh, you're such an idiot.
Well, whatever. Man, it came out in 1988. It came out before I was born, before we were born.
Yes.
So I mean, I have an excuse.
But no, watch it. It's awesome.
I think it's if it's on Netflix, I'll watch it. I want to speaking. Actually, there's a movie I want to watch on Netflix. It's okay. I can't remember what it's called now. It's a lot like Dread was. It's like about this big tower, and you have to go like they're going like through it floor by floor. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. The Raid Redemption.
Ah, yes, Raid Redemption. I really want to watch that movie.
It's all right. The fighting is hectic. It's nuts. It's kind of like, like Ong Bak in those movies.
Yeah.
Like it's all like practical fighting. They didn't use like CG or anything like that. It's nuts, but it's like hard to keep track of at some points.
Man, that washing machine is so loud.
Well, I'm right next to it. It's like it's on the other side of the wall.
I'm just you're talking. You're like, wink, 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 wink. Like,
You want me to go kill it for a little bit?
No, it's fine. We're almost done. Well, we still had a whole Wolverine stuff to talk about. So if you want to, yeah, you can go. Talk about. I'll talk about this one little news story, and then you go while you're doing it.
All right, whatever.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so whoever is still there, who's listening to this debacle of a podcast where we have so many technical issues and stuff. And again, I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so Superman versus Batman is going to film in Toronto. Go Canada. Man of Steel filmed in Vancouver. So, I mean, Canada's doing pretty well. But yeah, so they're moving to Toronto because of tax purposes and stuff like that.
I'm totally going to forget to put the washing machine back on.
I'll try to remind you, but I'll probably also forget.
All right.
Okay, so now that Dan's back, we can get into our topic of the week. We watched The Wolverine on Thursday night. Today is Monday. So, Dan, what did you think?
I liked it. It was, I mean, they definitely did a better job telling the Wolverine story than the first Wolverine Origins did.
Well, okay. That's unfortunate because it actually made less money than the first Wolverine movie did.
Well, that's because the X-Men movies were so big back then, and people went into that movie anticipating that, right?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then that movie bombed, so then people probably weren't as excited for this
So
one because that movie sucked dick.
we made it made 30 million less than X-Men World like Origins,
Hmm.
and so they came in at 55. It was first place, but it was a weak box office this
Hmm.
week. So at 55 million domestically, but it did really well overseas. So it made 86.1 million overseas. So I think it's paid back its money already. So that's probably good for a sequel or another Wolverine movie. So, but it made about the same amount of money as First Class. So that's good.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, the most exciting. Are we doing spoilers or whatever? Are we
Yeah,
just giving-
we'll just go right into spoilers like we always do.
Okay. Honestly, though, the most exciting thing for me was the tease at the end with the Xavier and Magneto.
Would you say it was
Like that's like
it was worth going to see the movie just for that post credit
just for
scene?
that part, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
It was so good.
And the movie itself was good too. Like it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I didn't love it, but I don't know.
So
Yeah.
my take on the movie is very similar to what so Chris Claremont, who wrote the story in the comics, the Japan Saga thing in 1982, he came out and he was talking to I don't know who again, another outlet about what he thought of the movie because he's seen it now, and he said he really liked the first two acts. He thought they were great, and then he said the third act was not as good. It wasn't bad. He said it wasn't bad per se, but it wasn't as good. He said it felt like a different movie, and I kind of agree.
In what sense? Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
So, do you want me to read his quote?
no, just like what do you mean? Like, how is it a different movie?
So,
Just-
okay, so you have the first two acts very like, I almost said Batman. Okay, so Wolverine is very like he's on his own. He's very solo. It's very much about like him and how he's handling his like inner turmoil. He's like a fish out of water. He goes to Japan, but by the third act, where he's coming in to take on the Silver Samurai, it feels and all that stuff before felt very grounded, very very real. The third act felt very comic booky. It felt jarringly different between the first. Between what happened before and how grounded it felt, and what happened with the giant adamantium robot and the DNA sucking machine, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to describe. Like, it doesn't feel like the same movie. So I'm not very good at explaining stuff.
I didn't find it very that jarring. I understand what you mean, but they wanted like a big set piece for the end. Like otherwise, he would like that fight with Mariko's dad would have been like the final bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why they put Viper in it. That was just weird.
Could have been anyone. Why Viper? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, whatever. They just used some random enemy.
I didn't really.
She was cool, I guess.
No, I didn't like her. I didn't like her at all. Okay, so the first little bit. So we have
and the other thing that one of the things that I thought was dumb was when Harada, like, he's like trying to get Muriko to let them kill Wolverine, whatever, right? He's like, this is good for our family or for the family, and then she stabs him in the leg and runs away, and then he's helping her. Like then he's like, oh, now I'm on your side.
Yeah, that was kind of that. Was,
Like he just decided to start helping them instead of like he could have just grabbed her and got her out. You know,
but he
like,
didn't do anything. He didn't have to do anything anyway.
it's like no, like I'm sure I feel like there was something that was cut. Like there should have been something in between that where he realizes why like this is the right thing to do, not to just start doing that. You know?
Yeah, no, it's weird.
It's again like a minor thing, but that's just something.
Well, that last part, that whole ending part feels rushed in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think everyone could see the whole reveal who Silver Samurai was. Like, everyone could see that coming. I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They just wanted a big action set piece, and wasn't done. You're right. It wasn't done the way the rest of the movie was.
Well,
and also they barely mentioned that Mariko is supposed to be like the best at throwing knives. That's her skill, and then that's what she uses in the end. She decides to throw it with his claws.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even know that was the thing. By the way, so yeah, I knew that she threw the claws. I just didn't know that was her thing.
Well, earlier in the movie, she says that Yukio is like the best with the sword, and she's the best with knives.
Oh.
Or no, Harada is the best with a bow, and she's the best with knives. Something along those lines. She just like she mentions it, but like in passing, and it's so brief. Like, And then like you just think that she's like this helpless girl, pretty much, and like he has to save her. She's a damsel in distress, and then she just kills her
To be
grandfather.
fair, she really is a damsel in distress the whole movie. That's
Pretty much, yeah. But
you
then
could.
turns out that she's badass with knives.
If I had to say if there was any complaint about characterization in the movie, was that she did come off as very much a damsel in distress, like just the classic trope of like she needs a girl who needs help, and he's a guy who can save her. You know what I mean? I,
No, and I don't have a problem with that necessarily. Like, she can still be a strong character and not and like need help. Like, you can be both of those things. But then it just turns out that she has a special skill and she can protect herself and like I don't know. It just seemed out of character for her, especially for her to kill her grandfather like that. Like they didn't even have like he had his back to her and she threw a knife into his head. And like before that, you were led to believe that she really loved her grandfather and he was her or she was his favorite and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
they just kind of like just flipped the switch and they decided to end the movie.
I get it. It's like, oh, we're at 2.5 hours, so time to
Yeah.
time to
And
end
it was
it.
a pretty long movie, so I get it, but they could have done a better job with the ending.
Couple things that like I mean, again, okay, so our job is to kind of like break it down or whatever, right? But I liked it a lot, but I felt like the movie was kind of paced oddly, like it was kind of put together. And I didn't really know what was like. Okay, to say I didn't know what was happening is a little extreme, but I at some parts I wasn't sure why people were fighting other
There
people.
was a lot of fighting. It seemed like a lot of random just to have Wolverine's claws out.
Yeah, like what was the purpose of kidnapping Mariko? Like, okay, so we have the defense minister or whatever, right? And he's sleeping with whores because
Yeah.
I guess it's very okay. It's very complicated, and I feel like it didn't have to be. Like, if we removed like one or two characters from this story, it would have made it much more streamlined. Like, again, why was Marco's dad? Why was he fighting Wolverine anyway?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Wolverine's not the one that screwed him over in any way. He just was in the house when the guy, and then they decided to fight.
Yeah, like because Viper fucked him over,
Yeah.
left him for dead, and then he was there. He came there with like, and then with
Like I
Red
guess
Girl.
he made it clear that he never really liked Wolverine, but like that's a bit of a jump.
Yeah, and I mean, okay. To be fair, that scene, like that fight scene, is probably my favorite one.
Oh,
In
it
the
was
movie.
it was awesome. Visually, it's cool. It just doesn't make sense in the story.
It's what I expected was going to happen with the Silver Samurai. I thought it'd be more that type of fight where it was like sword on like claws, which was what that fight was. Whereas the Silver Samurai was a giant robot sword with a heat with a like a
Some that was heated up enough so it cut through adamantium.
it was adamantium cutting is that
I
the rule?
guess.
If you're
I
hot
don't know.
adamantium, you can cut adamantium. Whatever. Anyways, the only reason they did that was because for some reason they needed his bone marrow. Okay, it was more so you can set up the bone claws for
Days of Future Past.
for Days of Future Past, which, granted, is freaking cool. Bone claws Wolverine is the coolest of the Wolverines.
No, I
Yes.
prefer him with adamantium claws for sure.
No, like the jaded old Wolverine with bone claws is much more cool.
I get it. I get what you mean. Actually, I don't know.
We'll see how it turns out. I mean, we are like we'll talk about like the post credit scene a little bit more, but like, what did you think of the whole love story with him and Marco? Like, we knew that was gonna happen because it's in the comics and it was obviously gonna happen. But like, do you think it worked? Do you think it was earned? It paid off. You know what I mean?
Eh,
No,
nah.
felt kind of forced. Eh?
It didn't feel like they spent enough time together, I guess, and he did save her, but they never felt like they even had that kind of chemistry. It felt like he was just doing the right thing. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like he even wanted to have that kind of relationship with her.
Or any relationship at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was like the forced. He was just the wrong guy or the right guy in the wrong place, and he had to be the hero.
The reluctant hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And like that's fine for him. That's what Wolverine often is. But then where does that relationship come from? Like why did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it felt a little forced. I don't know if it felt it. They spent enough time in it. Like, okay, so film wise, they spent enough time together for it to not feel like it was like how did this happen? But at the same time, it was like it didn't really like that relationship didn't really.
And okay, and here's the other thing. Whatever they went to their like beach house, whatever, and like that's I guess where it happened, right? they slept together. That was before that they knew that her husband was cheating on her. You know,
Was
like
it actually?
yeah, that was before that scene.
Oh yeah, but they
So
never
like
liked. But she
no, no,
never.
she never felt love or blah blah blah. But like at the same time, that's still like you can't be that mad at the husband for doing the exact same thing that you just did. You know?
Yeah, that and she's all about honor and
Yeah.
like meaning and stuff like that.
I get what you mean, but the movie seemed like it was put together weird because like I'm not actually mad that happened because I know that the Logan and Mariko relationship, like she's one of his great loves and all that stuff.
She's in the comics dies, right? Mariko dies. Is that what?
Eventually, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
I thought that was a whole thing. That's why he's like he took on that whole honor and samurai thing.
I thought he just had to leave or something like. I don't know.
I
I
don't know,
haven't
something
read it
like
in a while.
maybe I don't know. 1982 again. Weren't alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean that the part to me that I enjoyed most was inner like Logan's like inner turmoil and like his coming to terms with it and accepting the like learning the honor and code that we know from the comics about his samurai past and seeing that although kind of through it in a rushed way again because it is a movie and that we don't have time for everything but seeing that was interesting to me anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just more excited for Days of Future Past now.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's all I care
do
about.
you want to talk about that? Okay, so the post credit scene, uh, he's going through a he's going
Airport.
through an airport. He asks for the pat down, which I think is kind of funny, and then he gets the opt out, which is again that was funny. So he sees a
Yeah.
commercial for Trask Industries, building the future, the something of the future, whatever, right? Which we know is the company that makes the
Eventually makes the
Sentinels.
Sentinels.
And then when he's about to, he's putting his stuff in like the tray. Um, he sees like quarters flying up or whatever, right? And he turns around and it's Magneto. Does he pop his claws? I don't remember.
I think yeah, he does, but then Magneto just freezes him because
Yeah, he still has adamantium in his bones. Yeah.
yeah. No, he doesn't pop the claws. No, he just looks like he's going to,
Okay.
right? Anyways, and then yeah, Professor X freezes the rest of the world,
Which he
and
does. He does
yeah,
that.
he can do that. And then turns out he's alive. He's back. He's not the Wolverine's not the only one with the gifts.
Yeah.
This is the quote.
Well, I mean, he said
And
that
like
before. He was that for the
he's
first
back.
movie, right?
So what you get from that is he's back, and Magneto has his powers back.
Yeah. So which is cool. Can I just say that like having Magneto come in or Professor X come in was awesome, right? But
Hmm.
like that little shot that they did where
Where
he
he
could have
zoomed
been
in.
he zoomed in a turn. It was like a bend, and it
Hmm.
looked kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. He's like wow, and he came around the corner, and I was like, I love me some Professor X, and I think that like he's like the perfect Professor X.
Oh, of course.
But
Both Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart are perfect for those roles.
oh yeah, great. But it just looked silly. But that's fine. That's just like me just being a dick.
Yeah,
um,
making fun of handicapped people.
who's not even handicapped. Um, so and then he says what do they say? Some sort of like there's evil or darkness that out there that something I don't anyway something about darkness coming. Ominous dum dum dum. Got cuts to black. Next movie's
Yeah.
Days of Future Past. Sweet. I'm just like so excited. Like I've never been more excited for an X-Men project since this one, and X2 maybe was the last time I was this excited. And even then, I wasn't that
No,
into it.
I'm pretty sure I was very excited for The Last Stand,
And then you
and
were
they
let
and
down.
then they hurt me.
Okay, so you know that those YouTube videos where like tip or whatever reasons errors in this movie in
Yeah.
or 10 minutes or less. So they just did Last Stand like last week.
Okay,
It was really funny. Like I laugh a lot at those, but like
never seen them. I'll look it up
oh
after.
man, I'll send you the video. It's so funny. It's like honest trailers or something like that. Well, it's kind of like honest trailers. Have you seen honest trailers before? Where
No, man, I don't do a lot of
okay,
computer stuff.
so
Man.
it's not a computer stuff, man. It's a YouTube thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
YouTube's
whatever.
not a computer.
So it could be anywhere. You sound like a weirdo when you say that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's honest trailers like they recut a trailer, like a movie, into a trailer. It's usually longer than an actual trailer, but like to make it seem like really stupid, and it's usually so funny. And like then they say like starring these people, and it's never like the names of the actual people in the movies. It's like I'll just send you them.
Yeah, just send me.
I'm not good at explaining humor. It's like it's hard.
Stuff.
But anyway, um,
Days of Future Past is gonna be awesome.
do we have anything else to say on the Wolverine?
No, I don't think so.
No. Did I like that there was still some Canada stuff in it? I just as a Canadian, I think that was still cool.
Not just that bit at the beginning,
That
yeah.
little beginning part.
And that too, okay, what? Okay, so what really happened there?
Okay, so
Did the bear were they? Okay, so did the bear actually kill those other people?
yes, yes.
And then the guy just used a poisoned.
No, so what happened was they went hunting
Yeah,
and they used a poison broadhead arrow
yeah,
and they shot the bear. They want to take it out because it was huge, right? And they're like,
yeah,
oh, this is a huge
yeah.
bear, let's kill it. But they didn't kill it. They just made it angry and it killed a bunch of them. And one guy escaped.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay.
And instead of Wolverine puts it like the bear out of his misery. Apparently, he can talk to animals. Which I was like, wait a minute, is that a new power? Like he's like best friends?
No, he just felt like he had to do it. I don't.
Yeah, okay. So he puts the giant bear out of his misery,
Yeah,
and then goes and like fucks that guy up, stabs his hand.
with the poisoned arrow.
Yeah, which
Alright.
is cool.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
All
they.
right.
So did he ever take that sword or no? I don't remember. I don't think he did. Right, the separator.
No, the samurai sword that the
Yeah,
grandfather wanted to give him. No,
yeah.
Yukio brought it. It was in the car. I don't think Wolverine ever actually like held it or anything.
Okay. He's about two hands, right? Two hands.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we don't have much less to say. I'm sure we'll talk about it again.
Once Jeremy sees it,
Yeah, and yeah, as we do, we usually reminisce about older movies and
and I kind of want to just watch it again. I like to see them again. And, you look at it from a different perspective when you see it the second time. You'll probably notice more things.
yeah, and that let's be like, there's some pretty cool scenes. I mean, like
Oh yeah, the fighting was awesome. The action
that
was awesome.
the scene that started out to like, other than that fight with like near the end with Yukio's dad, but was the funeral. That was really cool with like a lot of stuff going on, and then the bullet train scene was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Although very comic booky.
But whatever, then that's allowed.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean it's a
comic
comic book movie. I get it.
And like you want to see cool action sequences like that. I didn't have a problem with the bullet train one.
Yeah. So okay, so my question is it already been established that Wolverine heals like instantly? Like that's a thing, like it's right away. Like when he got stabbed in the head with that, like right at the very beginning when he got hit in the face with, he got bottled and the
Yeah,
thing
and
came out, it healed right away. And then when
I
he
don't
got
think it shouldn't be that quick.
and then when he got sliced with a sword, like half his body got sliced, it just
Yeah.
healed back together right away. Like, has that always been a thing? I feel like it took longer to heal.
No,
But
yeah,
maybe
'cause
not.
in the other X-Men movie, like in X2, he gets shot in the head, and then he's down, and they think he's dead, and then he gets back up, and I guess it pops right out, and maybe that's just more like it concusses him because it hits his skull.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like in the first one, like it took him a lot longer to heal. Like it was more significant for him to be hurt. Because
Okay.
like in this, he's indestructible. That fight with Mariko's dad,
Yeah.
yeah, he got sliced up a lot, and then he just like turns around, he did that face. They did the face where he like kind of quarter
Yeah,
turn
man, he does
and
that.
he heals.
I
That turns out that's how he activates his healing factor.
I was thinking that same thing, and I was watching. I was like, man, every time he does a healing thing, and someone sees, he does that like stern
It's a
quarter
stern,
turn face,
slow quarter turn face.
and then it heals, and then he's like, and then everyone goes, "What are you?" or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Every time, it's great, but like he needs
It
a
is
new
cool,
move.
but it's been doing that.
He's literally
They've
done
been
that
doing
every like since X2 when he got shot in that
in every
head.
movie. No,
Yeah.
even in the first X-Men movie, I'm sure there scenes like that.
I'm so glad someone else noticed that. That's so funny. Okay, I think we can wrap it up before the call drops again.
Yeah.
We will be back next week. I don't think there's any big movies coming out, so I'll just watch a bit of Newsroom and all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next week.
Sorry for all the
Oh,
shit.
yeah, that I'm sure it'll sound terrible. All
It's
cut
gonna be
together.
a bad one.
It'll
but
be
whatever.
fine. All right, I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye. Hey guys, forgot to mention, follow us on Twitter at TowerBabblecast. Visit our site, towerbabblepodcast.com. I'm doing reviews on the new Beware of the Batman, as well as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show on Nickelodeon. We're on Google Plus and Facebook. Search for Tower of Babble podcast, and you'll probably be able to find us. See you guys next week.